Hey everyone, Fuzz here. Today I'll be reading to you an excellent story about a cocky group and their rat problem. Enjoy. This DM thread. So my DM threw out our last campaign and told us to show up to next session with just our dice, leaving our collected materials and sheets behind. When we arrived, he gave us a choice of 0 level NPCs. We were now trash tier nobodies, in a trash tier town, in a trash tier kingdom, in trash tier nowhere. Our party consisted of myself, the village blacksmith, who can't really make anything much better than simple or martial weapons, and even then can mostly just make horseshoes and nails and trash. The village healer. It's not really able to do any magic, doesn't even have the ability to make potions beyond herbal teas, and doesn't go into any healing beyond a vague understanding of good hygiene and drinking fresh water. A farmer, and a fisherman. We started off on a fine new morning, and found out that a local innkeeper had rats in a cellar, eating up all his foodstuffs and doing your typical low-level rat shenanigans from every RPG. We were offered the chance to try to locate some sort of wandering adventurer to handle this. We chose to settle the affair ourselves. Total party kill. We re-rolled. This time we played a farmhand, a stable boy, a messenger, and a woodworker. We prepared ourselves ahead of time, after hearing of the grisly deaths of the village's only blacksmith, the local healer, one of the fishermen, and the farmhand's boss. We knew exactly how we'd take care of the rats, by sealing them away in a cellar and walling them up. The woodworker prepared his sturdiest boards. We went to the inn, only to find the innkeeper dead, and we were beset upon by the rats from the shadows. We had, in our former lives, forgotten to close the door behind us. We attempted yet again, this time as a huntsman, the village drunk, the gatekeeper, and a tailor. We thought things would be a lot simpler. After all, we now had a huntsman, who while not necessarily a ranger or a ruffle-tubble rogue, could at least operate a bow. Our plan, this time, was to prepare an ambush from outside of the door of the inn. A huntsman was ready with his bow and arrow, and he also had a bear trap of sorts that we just set by the door's entrance. We threw open the door. Nothing. We knew they were still inside, perhaps in the cellar, because we could hear the gnawing, the chewing, the terrible chewing. We coerced our village drunk to go inside with a torch, just to rouse the rats and flush them out. And he did so, waving the torch around just inside the inn before sprinting back outside. And into the bear trap. We tried to assist him, but then the rats were upon us. Our huntsman got off 2 shots. We bludgeoned a wounded rat to death, but they were too much for us. There were 5 rats in all, 4 remaining after the battle, and now the rats were loose in the village. This time we were playing as a travelling merchant who had been staying in the inn, a baker, a cobbler, and a librarian. A day had passed. The children of the rats grew strong on the flesh of our neighbours. And worse yet terrors, such as spiders and a snake plagued our village. Windows and doors are boarded up. The streets are empty. We provided them with enough food after all, not that it sated them. We had a new mission now. Survival. Escape. We couldn't convince those who remained in the village, something like 20 ourselves included, that it was wiser to flee. After all, some had lived here their whole lives. A couple were too old to run, and a couple too young. We were only able to convince one other, a minstrel. Not a bard, sir. The man's music is passable at best and certainly not magical, to make the dash to the gate with us. We waited until the dawn, thinking that with the coming light, the creatures that had invaded our peaceful village might return to the shadows. The cobbler, ironically, in his well-made shoes, reached the thick, towering log gate of our village first. We could hear the rats scrambling after us, practically biting at our heels. The minstrel fell to them, but we didn't turn back. The cobbler turned, his face pale, screaming, "It's locked!" The gatekeeper had the key, and the village was now a tomb. This is unfortunately where our tale ends. We resumed a more traditional and regular campaign, and several weeks went by of standard D&D. At one point, while hiking up in the hills near a forest, we came across an old abandoned village. The gates had been forced open from the outside, by bandits most likely, perhaps the orcish raiders we were after. There was little remarkable about the town, and we found little to take with us. It seemed as though nobody had survived. A few bodies, likely dead for weeks, with little but gnawed bones remained, littering the village's one road, and the story was more or less the same in each of the houses, some of which were quite disturbing. The poor townsfolk had been driven mad, it seemed, from cabin fever. It quite puzzled us, as we theorized out loud what might have happened. We wondered if bandits had maybe invaded and forced the villagers to stay in their homes while making use of the village's supplies. It wasn't until we reached the inn, though, and found 4 corpses, and a bear trap, with a corpse still caught in its jaws outside its door, that we realized where we were. We never complained about helping out some random NPC with his rat problem again. Don't you love it when it all comes back around like that? As frustrating as that might have been at the time, I think the DM did a great job with his world building. What do you think? Leave a comment below. Alternatively, you can engage with me and other like-minded enthusiasts by joining one of the communities in the description. Before you go though, please click the like button for this video. It helps us out a lot. And if you enjoyed the content, then please subscribe for more. As always, have a good one.